American family piggy banks are bulging a little bit more these days. A new study out today says that thanks to the oil and gas boom and lower energy prices, household incomes are up by $1,200. And according to IHS, that conducted the study for the energy industry, the fracking boom, will boost household incomes by as much as $2,000 by the year 2015 and create more than 3 million jobs throughout the economy over the next 5 years. Joining us now to talk more about this is John Larson. He's co-author of the study and vice president of economics at IHS. John, thanks for joining us. And, you know, this is great news to hear. We've certainly all benefited from lower prices. But as you look out and you're making your forecast out to the year 2020, how much of your assumptions are based on lower energy prices? It might not work out that way, right?
Well, I think you're right. There's an important story that has to be told about where those energy prices will go. And when you look at the supply side of the equation, the rapid growth in this unconventional technology has really unlocked a tremendous amount of resource base. And you've seen tremendous growth in both oil and natural gas production. And so we feel very confident about that underlying assessment of where that supply will go and where the corresponding price paths will be. There's a tremendous wealth of availability of natural gas in this country at a dollar price of around $4 to $5 MMBTU. So I think when you look at it relative to the global prices, and that's the key, that's what determines the break-even economics for the underlying plays that are allowing us to enjoy this energy renaissance and corresponding economic growth. You do see an opportunity there for this to continue into 2025 and beyond, actually.
You know, John, as Susie mentioned, that's good news for all of America, certainly. But your numbers seem a little bit higher than some of the other studies that are out there. Is that because you based it on something different or your metrics were different than other numbers? Why?
Well, it's important when you look at this industry, you have to understand the full breadth of the industry. It's a supply chain from the wellhead all the way down to the consumer and the supply network that supports and enables this activity to take place. And so we're looking at not just the roughneck that's working the wellhead, we're looking at the steel furnace in Pittsburgh that's fabricating the steel and the pipe fitters and drill bit manufacturers in Ohio. And so we're trying to capture that full supply chain and then look at the broader macroeconomic effects that are leading, as you said, to this income effect for consumers. And I think that's the real highlight here is how profound this income effect is for all consumers. And obviously, when more consumers have more money in their wallets, they step back into the economy and purchase more goods and services, which in turn spurs greater economic growth. So I don't think we're overstating this at all. I think it's been a profound effect, and it's going to continue to have a profound effect going forward as that income grows for all individuals in this economy.
And part of this whole energy boom is because of fracking. And you mentioned the word fracking, and people right away say, and what about the environment? I mean, to what extent will environmental concerns or restrictions going forward impact household savings?
Well, obviously, you have to look at the current set of rules and regulations. Our study was based on an assumption of the status quo of those current regulatory frameworks that are conducted at the state level. And there's a whole host of permitting and other regulatory procedures in place. This is an industry that requires a significant amount of activity. You have to go out and explore, do the seismic activity to identify new plays, and then conduct all the underlying drilling. And so if that activity was curtailed, it does fairly quickly have knock-on effects down through the economy and could risk pulling that money back out of the pocketbooks of Americans.
And John, real quickly, who funded this study?
The study was funded by a coalition of organizations from the American Chemistry Council, the National Association of Manufacturers, the Fertilizer Institute. Organizations along those types of natures have helped contribute to sponsoring the activity of the analysis that we've conducted.
All right, well, it's a fascinating study. Thank you so much for coming on the program to tell us about it. John Larson with IHS.